All right, this is Scare Talk, and I am Danny, and I'm here with Kermit, Katrina,
Okay.
Doing a Muppets movie.
Apparently.
and we've got Gigolo Joel.
Hey guys, what's up?
Yeah.
New life.
All right, so today we have a special film. We got a screener from the producers, writers, directors of Name the Demon, which comes out October 4th, depending on when you're watching or listening to this, and maybe out currently. So make sure you go and support them. But we wanted to give a little review on it as well. We will be talking spoilers in the review, but we will let you know ahead of time so that you are aware to not listen or watch if you haven't seen it yet. Before we get into anything, make sure you're going to like and subscribe on our page. Send us a comment, send us a message, share with your friends and family, and look at our back catalog. We have a lot of reviews, over 250. So go look back on those because we reviewed all the big movies that have come out in the last 4.5 years.
Every single thing.
Yeah. So yeah,
Don't hold us to that.
go take a look at that. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/scaretalk. That's where you can get all the spoilers, the spoiler talk for all of the films from this year, as well as a few exclusives. We recently put up our top 5 trilogies of horror. So that's on Patreon only.
And we have a few exciting things coming. We're going to be doing some TV series.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one. Oh, well.
Finally covering fall.
Soon. Very, very, very soon.
Yes. Fall out, soldier.
Yeah.
All right. So for Name the Demon, Joel, can you tell us who is a part of it?
Oh, yes, I can. So this one stars Danny Bonin. He's David. He was in Murder at Yellowstone City. Sin Eater, which is a name that will come up multiple times in this.
Okay.
In Waco, The Aftermath for one episode. And then we've got Jess. She's Anna. She is our possessed one. She was in Dawn of the Hawk, Sin Eater, and She Walks the Woods. And her name was She in that movie. So,
okay. And what actress is that?
That is Jessie Nerid. She's
okay.
Anna.
Okay.
And then we got Joe Castro. He is Father Noah Marcus, one of the 2 or 3 priests in this movie. And he was in Scalper, Alien Vampire Busters, and Hell's Highway. His is interesting because he actually has, like, in his filmography, like 30 movies he's acted in.
Wow.
But he's got like over 100 in special effects over the years. So that's what mostly he's been doing. And he is also in an upcoming horror movie called Dorothea, who is she was a Sacramento serial killer. Dorothea.
Oh my gosh. I was just talking with my friend yesterday that they need to do a Dorothy Puente.
Yeah.
I wanted them to do the series like Dahmer and Monsters. I want them to do it on there.
Yeah, it's going to probably be a while before it's on there because she's not like a well-known
I know.
person.
Yeah, they'll probably do like Gacy or Bundy first.
Yeah, she has on Netflix. There's a show called Worst Roommates, and she has an episode on that.
Yes,
so
I saw that.
It's interesting.
I mean, being a Sacramento native, that definitely someone that we were into.
Yeah. And this was written by Carmelo Chimera, who wrote Sin Eater, and Arc, which was a short, and Nicholas Chimera, who wrote Sin Eater, and that was it.
Okay.
And this was
Directed by who?
Carmelo Chimera, who
Okay.
did Sin Eater and an upcoming short called Past Cure. And it's Nicholas Chimera, who this is his first movie. So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Cool.
So this one is the story of David. In an effort to save his possessed wife Anna, this is the remaining footage that was painstakingly put together to help tell the story of this horrific night. That's what IMDb tells us.
Okay.
Now, Katrina, do we have any critic reviews?
We don't have any critic reviews. This is the critic review.
This is the official first
Number
critic
one.
review
Yes.
of Name the Demon.
You gotta get some IMDb credits. And,
yeah. I'm hoping so.
So, this is a found footage film. And like the description says, it largely takes place over one night. There are some little parts that don't take place during that night, but most 99% of it does.
Yeah.
Basically, someone's possessed, and then they try to get the demon out. And some priests come over, people from the church come to help. Kind of your classic, exorcism type of film.
Yeah.
It's almost like you watch a Hollywood production exorcism film, and this is like the third act of that film. Because usually there's like lead up to it, and then there's the big finale where they actually try to exorcise the demon, right?
Mm-hmm.
This skips all that other stuff, gets right into it.
Yeah.
And but it's an hour and 15 minutes or something, so it's not like a short. It's a feature-length film.
Yeah. And there's still those like backstories and the deeper and like there's the skeptics of like who whether everyone believes that she's actually possessed or if there's something else going on. And then the backstory of her backstory, a little bit of like the couple's backstory.
It's kind of like put in in a kind of a clever way, because during this night we learn throughout the night the backstory. While going through everything with them, we're learning about their past and learning about the present, and so I thought that was kind of cool. We were able to learn a little bit about each character without having to be shown.
Well, and I did really appreciate the very beginning where we actually saw them before it all happened. Where it was like just this little home video of him being excited, you know, and and so I felt like I kept kind of going back to that in my head while watching the film of like, man, like look at where they were and like where they are now, and it really like gave me more feel for them, like it drew me in to like care more about the characters and be invested in like, oh my gosh, like,
So you got all the possession stuff, you got the crazy screaming and different voices and the classic stuff. She's wearing like a nightgown. She's got the look,
and as you can tell in this,
and I believe this is straight from the film. Our background. So I will say the effects were pretty good. Especially for something that I'm guessing whoever's watching this maybe hasn't heard of. It's a very under the radar film right now. Or maybe you're part of the film. That's why you're watching. Obviously, you've heard of it, but it's probably not a super well known film. And I don't know what the budget was, but whatever it was, they used the effects. I think were pretty top notch. There's not like a lot of it, and we don't get to see a lot of it like close up or anything. But it got the job done. What it was trying to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely compliment the effects. I wouldn't call it super scary. It's kind of like stuff we've seen before when it comes to these types of films.
Yeah. There was one scene that kind of jumped out at me, that I appreciated, just because there wasn't a whole lot of that type of scare in the movie. So when something does happen, it kind of like it's put on blast for me, because it's just but yeah, I would agree.
We'll have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Scene. Yeah, I think I have a couple of parts where I'm like, okay, that's like there's little nuggets that really stand out in this one compared to other like exorcism type of films. So especially found footage. We don't have a lot of found footage.
So that's the thing is I liked the found footage aspect of it, and I liked that they were consistent with the found footage, that it was consistent, that it was found footage, that there weren't just like random scenes that it was like, well, how was that caught on camera?
Yes. There was one camera and it was passed around a little bit, but and it was clean.
And there were times that it was like not the best filming because they were going through something, and it was like, man, I want to see what's happening, but like that's a real found footage, so definitely, and there was a reason for it being filmed. Like they gave an explanation. It wasn't just like, oh, we're just going to film today, like we're just going to have a camera set up in our house. There was like a purpose and reason behind it.
Yeah. And it was a viable reason. Like I could be like, okay, that makes sense why you're filming this.
Yeah. And so that's, I really liked the found footage aspect of this movie.
Yeah.
I think it was well done.
I like the end. I thought the end, ended on a creepy note, I'll say. So I like that. I do feel like it kind of shows its hand a little early.
Yes.
Yes.
If we're getting into,
if we're talking about a little bit of negative here, there is a like a connection in the film that is kind of brought up pretty quickly, and it's brought up subtly. So I don't know if like maybe they're thinking the audience isn't going to catch it, but it's pretty obvious.
I don't feel like it was even subtle.
Well, I mean, it's just said. Like there's something that's said.
Yeah.
And it's not like directly said, like, oh, I knew this person, like it's not, there's not a connection that's directly said.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Okay. You're talking about a different hand that was played earlier
than what you're thinking
than what I'm thinking of. So I had another hand that I felt like was,
we have multiple hands
dealt a little early.
Welcome to Name the Demon, the poker game.
we were in Vegas when we watched it,
so so I think it shows its hand a little early with some of the stuff that we find out later in the film, and is supposed to be kind of like a
twist or
almost
shock.
like a twist or like a reveal, and it's like, yeah, we know.
We figured that out a long time ago.
Put that on the table an hour ago. you know.
Yeah.
So it was just about the audience, like, okay, how are the characters going to figure this out?
Yeah.
I guess is more so how I took it.
Well, I kept
as an
thinking
audience
like,
member.
okay, has he really not put this together? Like that
Mhm.
was more my feeling.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like it took you that long.
Yeah.
But and then the other part, yeah, we'll talk more on spoilers with that. But my other like primary negative is there were a number of times where I feel like the characters were stumbling over their lines. And while I think that there might have been, I'm curious if there was some like purpose in leaving some of that in to make it seem a little more authentic. But it happened so much, or like to the point where it was like, I can tell you're just like stumbling over your lines. Like you're just having a hard time remembering your lines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, how many takes did we take that this is the take that you guys chose to use?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there could be improvement on that.
Yeah.
Some of the acting was, I felt like just newer actors, you know, still getting their footing.
Yeah.
And that's fine, you know, like it's, I feel like it's a lower budget, like just kind of creating a name for themselves. And for what they did with that, I think they did a really pretty good movie with that. But that would be something that I think could improve.
Yeah. Joel, you had described this. We had talked about it just briefly last week because you had watched it before we got a chance to.
Yeah.
And you said it reminded you of something. Do you remember?
I do. And it's probably my biggest negative for the movie. That there were certain scenes that felt playish and not movie-ish to me. I don't know if it was like the sound design or if it was the acting, but there were just some moments where I just felt like somebody was recording a play, and that's what I was watching as opposed to an actual movie.
Yeah, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like in those parts where they're stumbling through their words.
Yeah.
Like their lines.
There were a couple of scenes like that, but I think the one scene that stuck out the most to me that felt like it was, and I don't know if I don't think it's a spoiler, is when the other priest was like kind of coming on to the younger guy, and he was like, "Oh, I have a girlfriend or something like that," and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry about that." It's just the way they were talking to each other felt very playish to me.
Yeah.
And not like a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's that was the part that kind of stood out the most as far as this feels like a play.
Yeah. I'm picturing the part in the living room when they're kind of like explaining what's going to happen and stuff. Like when you say that like totally comes to my mind, and I'm like, yeah, I could totally see that as a play.
Yeah, it was just kind of like line, like but
yeah,
I mean, it's it wasn't like all over the film.
No,
it was just like here and there.
Yeah,
but am I understanding correct that you're saying that for you is a negative?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this isn't a play. This is a movie.
Yeah. I mean,
I want to watch a movie.
Yeah. I kind of like. I mean, I don't know. I kind of like. Sometimes I like watching like those kind of movies where it is like a play. I mean, I love like Tyler Perry movies and like I like the Medea movies that are actually like the play instead of the cinematic movie.
But that's what they're going for in those.
Yes.
They're not doing that in this one. So if they were going for a play, then that'd be a different story. But
yeah.
I do like, and I think this is kind of unique to this film, that there is a theme as to what the demon is there for. It kind of goes with the name of the film, Name the Demon. So there's an overarching theme, whereas usually in exorcism movies, it's just you're possessed and it's just evil, and and then the demon like knows things about you. That's kind of a cliche thing, but there's a reason for it in this one.
Yeah.
There's like a connection there between all of the people. And so I think that is, while it was kind of clear throughout the film, at least it was there. At least there was some reason behind it. So I appreciated that. But I would agree with some of the dialogue was a little rocky with how it was delivered. And some of the scenes did feel like watching a play. Those would be my biggest negatives as well.
Well, and I have another negative that I don't know if this is spoiling. Should I just save it for spoilers just in case?
Sure.
Okay. So if you want to hear my other negative, if you want to hear my other negative, you gotta stick in for the spoilers.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and rate it, and then we'll talk spoilers.
I think, first of all, I do want to point out, while we're talking about how the acting was rocky and some of it felt like a play, I do think the actress who played Anna did a really good job.
Yes. Yes.
She did a really good job playing a possessed person.
Yeah.
And I think she stole the show in this movie for sure.
For
Which I guess was the point of it.
Yes. You
want your possessed person to be the one that
the star. Yeah.
I feel like those actors and actresses don't get enough credit.
I know.
No, they don't.
That's true.
There's been so many films with that. And I mean, we got what's her name? I can't.
Oh.
What's her name from The Exorcist?
Yeah.
Why can't I think of
it? Oh.
I feel like it's a B.
Anyways.
Yeah, we've just pissed off the entire horror community.
Oh my gosh, what's her name? Where? No. Anyways, her. She gets like a lot of acclaim for her performance.
Yeah.
But she also didn't really get a lot of roles after that. And she
didn't. People were too afraid to hire her.
Linda Blair.
She's a good actress.
And then the only work she got was like horror films and like cheap ones, and so she never really did anything else. And then there's been just so many. I think the one that probably did the best is what's her name from Emily Rose, Exorcism of Emily Rose. She
she did get work. She was in Dexter, and
so as far as her like career, I think she got, recognized for her performance more so. But it's not very common. These actors and actresses that go through this, and it's a lot. There's not much CGI going on here. You're doing all that stuff. So it's a pretty crazy thing for an actor.
I mean, she didn't change her in this one. She didn't like change up her voice or anything. So that was added, but.
Yeah, probably.
Overall, like, it was her doing
all the physical stuff.
Yeah, doing the physical stuff.
Yeah.
And she did a really good job. So
and delivering it very believably, I guess. Oh, darn it. There was something else, but whatever.
All right, let's rate it. I'm going to give it a 75.
Okay. Joel?
I think it's 79 for me.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was for a low budget movie like this. I thought it did a good job. So
yeah. I'm going to go between the two of you and do 77.
Okay.
All right.
I got to add some sevens in there with fighting the demon. There's like some negatives that made me want to give it a lower score, but given the fact that like it is like, you know, if this was like a big name production company, big name actors and directors and everything, then I would, you know, those things would matter a little more. But with the movie that it was, like, I think they did a really good job.
Yeah,
for what they did.
You know, and it's kind of a smart way to do a film because you can hide your budgetary restrictions by doing it found footage.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have a ton of money to, you know, invest into all these other things when it comes to a cinematic production.
Yeah.
So you can do it low budget with found footage and still tell a good story, and you don't have to worry about all that other cinematography and everything like that. And you can pull it off, then that's a good way to kind of, you know, get your name out there, kind of like what they did with like Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch and, you know, those types
Paranormal, their budget was what, $10,000, and they ended up with like what, $200-300 million with that just that one movie. Like
yeah, that's crazy.
And you know, as long as you have the good story, you know, decent enough acting, you know, then you can do something with a found footage film. So it's better than putting like money into it and having it look cheap. You know, like this looks cheap, but it has a reason for it. There's a purpose, you know?
Yeah.
So it's part of the story rather than just it looking cheap for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it adds value to the movie by looking cheap.
Yeah.
Like not just it has a purpose, but like to me, the found footage aspect wouldn't be taken as seriously if it didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, we got this family, this
Wait, are we going into spoilers?
We're in spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
Okay, so you got to do the spoiler alert.
Sorry, spoiler alert. We are past the rating.
Just all of a sudden.
We are gonna talk spoilers now.
Yes.
This is not just on Patreon, so you guys get to watch this for free.
Yeah, you just hear what the uncensored.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a family, mother, father, and daughter. The mother is possessed.
That was the other thing I was gonna say.
What?
Like so many times with like little kids in a movie.
Yeah.
You know, I always like kind of am curious, how is the little kid gonna be?
Yeah.
And I thought this little girl did pretty good.
She was fine.
Yeah.
For what she was cute doing. And she was like, I want to go with you, Daddy.
Yeah.
I want to see Mommy. It's like, at times I'm like, dude, someone take her out.
I know.
Why are they just putting her in a room? Like,
I know. What? I'm like, why would you have her just go up to her room?
There was one moment that it felt forced when she was like basically told to hug the priest. And said save my mommy. That part kind of felt forced to me. Yeah. But I mean, she's a little girl. Like it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learn at the very beginning that there was something that was bothering Anna about her time in Salem. So we learned that, and that's really all we know is she was there in Salem. Something bothered her about that time. Then we get to the point where we're at the night where the exorcism is going to take place, and one of the priests says that he, you know, used to practice at a place in Salem. So like, I don't remember the name of it. But it was like part of his credentials, you know. Yeah, and it was Salem. So then it's like, okay,
and it was the same. It was the same actual place that she talked about, not just that it was in Salem, but it was the exact same name. Yeah, she did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that's where it was like, Okay.
There's a connection.
We
It's
made that
clear.
pretty, yeah.
And that's where I'm like, was that supposed to see? I don't remember her saying the actual name of the church.
I feel like
then it's very
I
clear
feel like
that
she
there's
did.
the connection. That's not even hidden.
Yeah.
At that point.
I mean, I'm not gonna say like I'm not gonna like.
I just remember hearing Salem and thinking, oh,
yeah,
something. There's obviously a connection there if you paid attention to her saying Salem.
I'm not gonna guarantee, but I am pretty sure that she.
Because I thought that he was trying to get information out of her in the beginning, and she just mentioned Salem. I don't remember her talking about an actual place. But maybe
we're
she
gonna
did
have to watch the
later on
movie
in
the again. Fact check me.
So
go watch the movie and fact check me there.
Yeah, exactly.
You should be able to rent this or buy this on demand, Prime, Amazon, whatever else you guys use. Vudu.
Yeah.
You should be able to find it there now. So there's that connection that is, pretty clear and obvious, at least to me. But the main connection that I wanted to see what you guys thought of, or what you thought of this connection, was the whole lust demon thing. So they all kind of had their issues when it comes to lust and how that's a sin and everything. And the demon that possessed Anna was like bringing that to everybody's it was kind of bringing it out of everybody. Like, we're now gonna bring all of your lustful sins out into the open for everybody to hear. What did you guys think of that aspect of the movie? Because I feel like that's kind of unique to
it is. Yeah,
exorcism
it is. And I didn't. There were a couple of characters that did have their pasts, but yeah, I didn't think of it as the demon like bringing everyone together in one spot and like kind of bringing all that out in them. But yeah, that does make sense because the priest had a background. Even the husband had a background.
Yeah.
And that's, I didn't think of it like that while I was watching it, but it does make sense.
Yeah. I definitely made that connection. And I was thinking, like, how have you not figured out what the name of this demon is? If you know the demon, that's the other negative that I didn't want to say until we were at spoilers. But that goes along with that. Like, to me, it was like obvious that this was the demon of lust, or
and they've got this book of all the demons. Like, just look that up,
and so
because that was what was so important. You can't fight the demon until you know
you know the name.
So
and then they didn't know the name until the very like last 10 minutes of the movie. And it was like, dude, I figured this out a long time ago. Like, and maybe he wouldn't admit that was the demon that it was, because the biggest person he was after was himself, the main priest.
He had
and
the
then
biggest
and then
issue.
even the like the other priest, him trying to kiss the other the like camera guy.
It was deacon,
yeah,
deacon and a bishop and a priest, I believe.
Yeah, it was a deacon and is a bishop higher than a priest? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't know. But like the two that like actually, performed the ritual and everything. And then the deacon was the one behind the camera. Because he wasn't sure,
he was like a rookie.
And then, but it was like, I guess the bishop who the like second priest or whatever that tried to like kiss him.
Assistant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to kiss.
It tried to kiss the camera guy, and the camera guy's
Mhm.
like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
And the camera guy was the one who, like, he was talking about wanting to get home to his wife, and I don't want to see this. And like,
yeah, he was freaking out.
oh my gosh, he was disturbed, like, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
Right at the first time that they went in.
Yeah.
And I was like shocked with how extreme he reacted to it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, am I desensitized to these things or something? Because, like, man,
If
he
you
had quite a reaction.
If you saw it actually happen, probably not.
I probably
You
would
see-
react a little bit
You
more.
see movies, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
But it did kind of hit me too, because it's like I'm not used to characters freaking out in an exorcism movie just by what she did initially.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like she was just kind of upset and thrashing around, and you know,
And
I
she
feel
said
like they
some
got
extreme stuff.
Yeah, I feel like they got kind of physical with her, like pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, there's no need to grab her and try to strap her down. Like,
but the
down.
husband had said that has
Yeah.
been necessary.
Yeah.
And so the story that he gave, the background that he gave of how violent she gets, how quickly she gets there, then I think they wanted to take
well, and there was
precaution.
already another priest.
That's the thing. Yes, that's before you
that.
saw this. It was like the like happy video of we're gonna have a baby, and then the video of her lunging at this one priest, and then him being like, why didn't he come back?
Yeah.
Is it because of the last time he was here?
Yeah. They said he's in a coma, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
he said he's fallen ill.
Yeah.
And then we find out he's in a coma.
Yeah.
Later on.
Well, and the other part to that was I felt like there was like the question, the skepticism of whether she was actually possessed or whether he was abusive, because some people were thinking that he was abusive and that she was in a dangerous situation with him, and whether, you know, there was just something else wrong with her. Was she just depressed? Did she have other kind of psychological issues? And was it not an actual possession? And their first visit up there, it's like it gave away that it was a possession.
Yeah.
Right away. That's the hand that I was dealt too quick. Okay. Where it was like, okay, you could have like left room for us to keep wondering, because there were still parts later on where we meet the like babysitter that he was trying to say like he's not a good guy and you need to be careful of him. That if we hadn't seen that first scene of like she was clearly possessed, then we may have still been questioning, is this an actual possession or is there something else going on? Because she had even said like he has me locked up, he's, you know, torturing me and all that. And so they left room, you know, they kind of had that story, but then it didn't do anything after.
That's true. There wasn't any room for us to kind of question what was happening.
I felt like that scene just came too quick. And like they had already set it up for that scene not to come so quick, because he had said this could take months. And so then it was like, okay, but it actually all just happened in this one night. Like you didn't even like set up.
Well, they may have had to take a scene or two like that out, because the way I do like how the camera you can see like how long it's been versus like how much time is left.
Yes,
on the battery. That is a very short battery.
Yeah.
It's very quick.
Not a very upgraded camera.
No, they
it was at 97% when it first started.
No, it was at 100.
Was it at 100?
Yeah, it was at 100%.
Okay.
And within like 2 minutes, it was at 97.
Okay.
I was like,
Okay.
wow. Okay. This is
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
dying pretty
I
quick
didn't
already.
even. Yeah, and I didn't even notice the percentage at first. But then as the percentage was going down, I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's cool that we could see that. And towards the end, we're like, oh man, are we going to be able to see like
Yeah.
the rest? How quick is this going to die on us?
Yeah.
That's why some things probably needed to be taken out, because they literally needed every single minute of that footage.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
used every single minute of the footage. So anything else I was gonna need to take a little bit longer. Just like it would have been nice to have gone further into the whole maybe she isn't possessed angle, but there was no time for that in this movie. If they were keeping that same if they were the same pace the entire movie, then they just needed to get in and get out, like do whatever, like really quickly. Which
but they could have had like multiple days. They could have had like
segments of
like because
together.
Yeah, because they're gonna film each day that they go.
Yeah, it would have been a very different movie.
It would have been. Yeah.
But I do like that kind of stuff, though. When there is the question of the mental illness and the possession, I do like.
Yeah, because then you're like, oh my gosh, should they be doing this exorcist? Like, or exorcism? Like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Joel.
Sorry. I was just gonna add. Didn't somebody find this footage? Isn't that why?
Yeah.
Everything had to be in one night. So if they use multiple, it wouldn't have been realistic, because someone would have had to like edit all those videos together. Someone that wasn't a part of.
That's true. Or they have like the backstory of someone like putting in the different films.
Well, you don't have to do that because it's all in one tape. So
that's true.
That's why we got the first.
Because
they
just still his same tape.
Yeah,
because that's
just
why
charge the battery every.
Because that's why we saw the first video of him being so excited about having the baby, because it was on the same video.
Yeah,
and he just like recorded over that.
Better charger for that camera.
Better battery. Yeah.
Better battery.
It's a better charge. So there's a part where there's a couple of parts that I thought was pretty cool, and one of them you kind of see often, but I still love it when you see it. Like she was behind one of the characters at one point.
Yeah.
And he just like puts the camera down and he's like doing something and the camera is facing him. So we get to see what the camera sees, but he can't see what's behind him.
Yeah.
So we got to see that she was right there behind him. So that was pretty cool. I love that.
That was the scene I was talking about, and like him picking up the camera again and she's gone.
Yeah.
I was like, I like that. I don't want to say cliche because it is used, but it's not used a lot.
Yeah.
In movies.
It's a clever way to do a found footage scene.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like how she has actually escaped at one point. Like she's out there in the world. Like, and they're just, I'm like, wow, okay, well you just lost a demon. Good job.
Yeah.
I liked when she was floating. You just see her. You just see her feet like float by. From the angle of the camera. That was pretty cool. Just little things like that. I'm like, okay.
The part that
I'll remember this movie for those little things.
See, the part that stood out to me is like the dog just like flying across and hitting the wall. Like, my gosh.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we got to, get to the end, and then the little girl, who we thought was dead, rises up right before the battery dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say a happy ending.
No.
These movies, they very rarely have happy endings
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that's the whole point. Someone has to find the tape.
Right.
It's a found footage, so
That's a good point.
people have to die in these movies for that to happen.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're not gonna like live through it and hey,
Yeah.
I found this tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember
Like,
the time?
Yeah.
Let's watch this home video again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they left it open for
more
additional films.
Yeah. So is this little girl gonna be the same demon, like the lust demon?
I don't
That'd be
know.
weird.
That would
That'd
be
weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope not.
Yeah,
That would be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a cliche thing too in these exorcism films where they're gonna say the most vulgar things.
Yeah.
It's kind of a trope in the
that's
it's
where
lust, though, so it's
right. So at least there was a reason for it.
There was
That's what I meant.
definitely a reason for it in this one where there's not always that.
Yes. It's just there.
But that's also where it was like, okay, she's saying these extreme things, but like, why are you like so distraught? Like, you guys said you've done like gazillion exorcisms. You've never experienced this before? Like, I've seen a good amount of Exorcist movies, and I knew that was coming.
And that should have.
But
them
the
into
camera
the name,
guy,
right?
it made sense. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But the camera guy, it made sense that he was freaking out because he hadn't done this before, and he was like, "I don't think I'm ready for this." Like,
there was one part that I will say I wish was a lot shorter. When the
basement,
the guy looking for the father in the basement.
Was he looking for the father or was he looking for her? Because I thought he was looking for her.
No, I think he was because he knew he went down there for the breakers. He was trying to turn the power back on. So that's why he went down there to find him. That's what you say,
but I don't know. I didn't get that.
Either way, he's down there and he's breathing so crazy.
Oh,
and it's just annoying to hear. And he's looking through paintings for some reason.
Yes, like the paintings.
Like, why are we looking at the paintings? I don't get
that really could have been taken out.
Yeah.
I mean, I see that they were trying to like add these like creepy paintings. Like, okay, so she's been doing these paintings and it's been getting worse.
Yeah.
But it wasn't valuable. No. It wasn't needed. And you could have saved that time of the film. And I just didn't like that whole part of. I was so confused about like, why are you spending so much time down here in the basement? Like, this is not the place you need to be right now.
Yeah.
And I want to see what's going on upstairs. But I think that also like added value to like the found footage aspect of like, because part of a found footage is like, I don't want to be watching this. I want to go watch the other part. Like, I got to see what else is going on. And like, we were also like, at that point, we were like, where's Anna? Where's the daughter? Where's the priest? Like, we knew the priest and the husband were like talking about what really happened to Anna, you know, like her true backstory. And so we knew we weren't getting to see that because he took the camera and we're like, well, thanks a lot. We wanted to see what was going on there. And then we knew we needed to find Anna. We needed to find the daughter. And it's like, what are you doing over here in the basement looking at paintings? Like, this is not what you need to be doing right now.
After he found, I think his name's David, the husband. Yeah. After he found him, and then he's like, I tried to turn the breakers on, didn't work. And then he leaves, and then the bishop guy, now he like heard something or something. So that's why he's down there and why he's there, because he thinks Anna might be down there.
Yeah.
So he's still kind of like.
So he's still looking for Anna. That's what I was saying. He was looking for Anna.
He went down there to look for David, and then he found him. But then he started hearing other stuff down there. And it was just a lot of him like breathing really heavy and like he was really scared. And it just didn't work for me. To me, it wasn't super believable. That
you can be scared. Just don't breathe into the microphone every time.
It was just too much.
Yeah.
It was too much.
Yeah.
And
it didn't sound like a scared breathing to me.
Yeah. It just kind of got a little annoying after a little while.
Yeah. It sounded more like you're breathe heavily into the camera.
Yeah.
But you didn't hear terror behind the breathing. Like when you're breathing because you're scared. Yeah.
Felt like it.
If you're breathing because you're scared, you're like, like really upset. But it was more like,
Wow.
There you go. Hire me, guys. I will breathe behind your camera.
All right. Yeah.
There we go.
I'll be
Joel, do you have any other spoilers to tell?
Yeah.
No, not really.
I'll be interested to see what comes next, if there's going to be a sequel for this, what these guys end up doing in the future. So keep us in mind.
Yeah.
On the
I'd watch you guys again.
Yeah.
Chimera family.
Yeah.
Brothers or whoever you are.
And there's also, I think they have the same last name, so I'm assuming they're brothers. Yeah. David and the bishop also have the same last name.
Oh.
So, okay.
I think, yeah.
That it was cool. The names that they chose were definitely all like biblical.
Oh yeah,
names.
Yeah.
So
we had
cool.
Noah, John, David, Gabriel, Simon, Grace, Joshua.
Wasn't there a Matthew?
There was but he's not listed because he's the one who's in the coma.
Oh, okay. So and
then she's
Anna, but
Anna.
Yeah, Anna.
Anna Scott.
I don't know if that isn't. Yeah. I mean, she's possessed, so maybe we won't count her. But yeah, so I thought that was a cool little touch.
There was an Anna in the Bible. I just don't know any stories of an Anna.
Yeah, I feel like there is an Anna. But yeah, and Gabriel is Gabriel Lucas. So he's got Luke and Gabriel.
Someone was something Matthew.
Noah Mark. And then
Mark. Okay. Maybe that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, because he was Father Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure it was Father Matthew that was not there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Look forward to seeing what you guys have in store for us in the future. But in the meantime, go check out Name the Demon. We recommend it as a found footage, exorcism type of film. And let us know what you think about it. It is available to rent or purchase on the different video on demand platforms like Amazon, Vudu, places like that. So go check it out. And that's it.
And this has been Scary.
Scare Talk.
Scare Talk.
Scare Talk. What the heck? Oh my gosh. I can't remember my lines.
Don't let Anna bite.